right. That was the Veldt by Deadmau5. And in this lesson, I'm going to actually show you how to play the second chordal phrase for the Veldt. There is a part 1 to this lesson, which you're definitely going to want to check out before you do this lesson. This is definitely the more difficult of the two. Absolutely. All right. The other thing I want to make sure it's clear right now is that we are in drop D tuning. If you don't know how to do that, look that up on YouTube. There's plenty of videos that can explain that. So we are in drop D tuning, just like part 1. And what I'm showing you today is actually the second chordal phrase to the song, because it actually has two different, slightly different chord phrases back to back. And that pretty much makes up the whole song. And I'll call the first chord phrase A, the second chord phrase B. That'll make things kind of clear. We've got an E major chord to start out again, just like the first phrase. Again, we're going to have to cover with the middle finger, the second finger, the second fret on the top string, because we have to make that an E because we're in drop D tuning, right? So we have to, take care of that. All right. So again, here, now it changes on the second chord of this phrase. Now, here's where things get really dicey and why I was sort of not wanting to do this lesson, because there's going to be a lot of debate about how we're supposed to do these voicings. I picked out the individual notes from the keyboard part on the video, and then I just tried to arrange them as best I could for the guitar. Now, there's going to be a ton of changes and discrepancies that occur whenever you transfer something from one instrument to another instrument. So I actually took a few liberties. I sort of did, as it were, guitar isms. I made it into a guitar-friendly piece, and so I had to make a couple of changes. You may notice that. I'm probably going to give you a few options as we go through this as well. Okay, so here's what I actually came up with for the second chord. It's technically a B minor first inversion. Okay, that is to say a B minor chord with a D on the bass. On the guitar, that is just not an easy thing to do and make it sound the same. So what I did was I just took an open D, a B on the 5th string, open D on the 4th string, and then I'm covering an A, which is the minor 7th actually. So that's sort of a guitarism that I added in there. The A and the minor 7th on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. So that chord, funny sounding, but it clearly implies a B minor, which is what we're really after. Okay, so far we've got. Now we've got to get that little G sharp note on the 3rd string, 1st fret. That's that little transition note that we got to hit in order to connect it to the next chord. Okay, now that's the tricky part right there. What happened there? Okay, so let's see. I did the E, I did the B minor first inversion, and then that note, and then this chord, which is interesting. You can't really tell what it is exactly, but this is basically a D5 with an F sharp on the bass, a D major first inversion, if you will. I have to cover the F sharp on the 4th fret on the 6th string because we're in drop D tuning, right? Normally we'd play that looking like that, but since we're in drop D, I have to play that like that. I actually don't include this finger. And what I'm doing here is I'm playing the F sharp. I'm muting, as I say, flattening a little bit here so I don't hear the 5th string. I'm muting the 5th string. Open D on the 4th string, and then on the 3rd string I've got 2nd fret and A. Okay, and that's all I'm playing. Just those 3 notes, which composes a D major chord first inversion. And then to continue the melody, what I have to do is I have to bounce off of the open 2nd string. 2nd string, back to the A, and then to catch the next melody note, which is a G sharp, I have to change chords to an E, that same E that we started with. Okay, I'm going to try to go through that slowly here. Okay, did you get that so far? Excellent. And then right after that, the A chord jumps in there. And then the ending is the same otherwise. Okay, so let's go through that again. A. Okay, And the ending here is just the same as the first part. B minor, A, except for one little thing, it ends on an F sharp instead of an A. The first phrase actually ends on an A melody note. This ends on an F sharp melody note. That would be 4th fret, 4th string. Okay? All right, and that should sum it up. Second part. Okay? So, put those two parts together and here's what you get. Okay? And you could play that a number of different ways. I found some luck finger picking it. I did the palm muting, which really is more like the song, that sort of a thing. You could do it a number of different ways. You know what? Mostly, I urge you to get creative. Okay? Find your own way of playing this song. That's one of the most important things that I teach in music is to be yourself. Don't try to be someone else. Take this music, this chord progression, this vocal part, and make it who you are. And I would just love to see some of those on YouTube too. So send me a line if you record yourself playing this song or singing it. Notice I'm not singing it. I do sing sometimes, but not on YouTube. Okay, that pretty much covers it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, I'm teaching worldwide via Skype, so please get in touch with me on my website, guitargurumike.com. And I should be having, a few of these kind of videos coming out, so stay tuned. Your favorite tunes should be coming up shortly. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Bye.